We took a Microtel and rebranded it. It's called the Block Hotel. Our signage is up. Let's take a look. So the exterior, pretty much the same paint color as before. Let's go ahead and walk inside and show you guys our team has been working on. This is the biggest transformation. Definitely feels a lot more luxurious versus your standard hotels that you see every day. When you walk in, we have this really cool seating area where guests can sit down and take pictures or wait to get checked in. Really good cohesive design, stands out a lot. And this is the hotel lobby. We have all these tables. You can probably sit up to 18 people, and then you have seating area. The TV is upgraded. People can sit right here and watch. And here's the seating area. So you can sit here in front of the electric fireplace, watch TV. And we have this little ring game here as well. I really like what they did with it here. We have these really big mirrors in the lobby as well. There's a couple of so this is like the biggest transformation, right? It's right in your face when you walk in the hotel lobby.
This was actually done rather quickly, but it came out really well. And before, we just had a very super traditional rectangular desk and like these stackable chairs. Get it like a homey vibe, especially with that fireplace going on. So we have some different seating options, and we started to put some games out as well. In this window nook, we are thinking about putting another bench like we have in the rooms, so that way it becomes another area of seating or hanging out. See that long window over there? We plan on putting another long bench there with an open below, so that way we can put like games and things that people can just grab to play and or keep themselves occupied with in the lobby. The whole place has been repainted. We added the wood slats, the artwork.
You said like a real estate meetup actually rented this place out. What does that look like? They rent out every single table here?
They would just rent out this whole space for, they rented out 3 hours or so, and they would be able to utilize all the tables. They would be bringing in their own snacks and drinks, and we'll just put up some signage for them for that duration, and they can put on their own slideshows and graphics on TV as well.
How much does that cost like when someone rents it out?
So this one, I think we done it pretty cheap because it's something that Dia may know. $100 or $150 for just a few hours, which is not bad for just a lobby because normally lobbies are not rented out. When we did have a conference room that was still operationally, when people did rent it out for 2 hours, we charged them about $200. So it's not bad compared to what we were charging for a full conference room. The additional benefit would be like that they would cross-post this on their social media and give us a bit more publicity.
All right, I'm here with Mike. Let's talk about the lobby renovation.
Here at our front lobby, we have the Block Hotel signage that'll actually be here in the next day or two. It's going to look like Scrabble pieces. We put these wood pieces over the existing countertop that was here, but otherwise we've kept everything the same because it still looked nice. Technology-wise, we've done a lot to the hotel, but one of the things is we've switched out the computers because everything we do is browser-based. We moved to Chrome boxes instead of Windows because it's easier for our staff because we use Google and everything, and it's also more secure. Right now, guests are coming up here when they're checking in, but here in the next week or two, with the new locks that we bought for the property, we'll have a better integration with our property management system so that guests can just go straight to their room whenever they make a reservation.
So they could just bypass the front desk.
They can bypass the front, and
that's
that's
nice.
the goal, is to have most guests bypassing the front desk unless they're coming up because they have some questions or something like that. So it's really, even just with what we have right now, it's freed up a lot of our staff's time because it's not very cumbersome to check a guest in.
Like I got it on my smartphone, the door code and everything, so and the door room, so that's cool.
Yep. So whenever you send a message, if you need something, the team here sees it, I see it, and then my remote team also sees it as well. So whether it's a phone call or a message, we're all like on top of it and coordinating to figure out how we help our guests. This is our market. I think before we just had a bunch of shelves in here. We are getting some signage in here to show exactly how much everything costs. Right now, this freezer just died a couple of days ago, so we're getting a replacement in here. But we normally have ice creams, TV dinners, meals, and stuff like that for people who don't want to go out somewhere and get something to eat. We offer all kinds of little snacks and stuff here. And then we have a little square machine here for guests to use to check out if they want to pay with their credit card or Apple Pay or anything like that. This place has seen a bit of a makeover. Looks a lot nicer now. We are going to be offering other things for guests to buy that they might need while they're traveling. Hiking backpacks or anything related to hiking or biking and things like that.
People actually buy this stuff. How much does it generate in a month?
It doesn't generate a massive amount. I think at the moment right now we're probably profiting about maybe $2K a month or something like that from the market. But there's definitely room for us to be doing better.
Let's check out the conference room. Ooh, man, all the stuff, huh?
All the things.
This is the conference room filled with junk right now.
This used to be a conference room.
It still is a conference room. We are literally having a meeting right now.
Okay.
So yes, this is our conference room. This was built out to meet Walmart specifications. For example, they have a network in here that is dedicated to just this room. There's a lot of audio, video equipment in the corner here in this closet that connects to the speakers everywhere so that they could have meetings in here and do education and things like that.
So just during the renovation, we have all these are like all the TVs.
Yep, this
And
is
this is the beds, huh?
this is bed frames. We got TVs, mattresses.
Floor liner.
Yep, to keep things quiet. We should be having the rest of our rooms online here in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and so all of this will be cleared out. And then we'll work on fixing this up so that guests can book the space, which we've already had a guest book out our lobby area.
Actually, for a real estate meetup
Oh, okay.
next 2 weeks.
So extra income.
Currently, we're also using this as our staging area for our market item, experimenting with what we want to keep in the market. But right now, we have a bit of everything,
Oh.
and we'll let
See what makes the most money or whatever.
Yeah, we've expanded quite a bit from just snacks and drinks to now have airbrushes. Some people want fancy shampoos, so people buy that. Same with body wash and things like that.
All of this is gonna go in the next 2, 3 weeks. It's a lot of work, dude.
That's the goal.
Oh, people leaving stuff? What do you do with the excess stuff?
We're actually selling that to another hotel
Oh,
in
okay.
Eureka Springs.
What TVs are these? These are regular. These are the ones we've upgraded, right?
These are our new hospitality grade TVs. These 55-inch TVs, they were just a bit more expensive than a regular TV that you would buy in a short-term rental, but it allows us to control everything from a single point. So, for example, if we're having issues with sound going from one room to another, through one central point, we can lower the maximum volume on these TVs so that we can prevent that from happening. And also, if a guest complains about noise, we can log into a dashboard and see what's going on around them and make changes if we need to. And of course,
Cool.
personalization. So if they turn on the TV, they can see, hey, Alex, your stay is from today for 2 days. Here's what's going on in the area during the weekend. Anything we want to push in front of customers.
Cool.
Right, this is a Walmart brand on TV. And the 55-inch one of those is probably like about 300. And then these guys were how much each?
I think around 500 or so.
Oh, not that much more. But I guess if you're multiply it times 76.
It's more money, but this is commercial grade hardware, right?
Right.
So it is less likely to fail. Like these TVs are great, and while you can put them into guest mode, like with these, we can literally disable buttons on the remote so that
Yeah, yeah.
guests can't get into a bad state. We can
Yeah.
reset it to because it's actually a pretty common problem. At one of my properties, I have a bunch of Roku TVs,
Yeah.
and when guests have to go into an app to watch live TV, if they're using Hulu or something like that. With a hotel this size, we can't afford to have those things happen and impact the guest experience.
I wonder if can anyone just buy these TVs though?
You can buy them. Would you like to buy this one?
300.
Yeah, no, you can buy these TVs from suppliers, but if you
Ah.
buy them in bulk, you definitely will get a better deal.
Some of these updates is we changed out the door locks to these smart locks.
Yeah.
Before, I don't know if you remember, they were these
The pad.
LED key cards.
Yeah, and it kept not working for me.
Yeah.
I had to come to the office 3 times.
And they're considered pretty dumb because
Yeah.
you can't track if someone's in a room or what reservation is supposed to be part of this room. These, we actually have an app that you can tell each room. If you click on it, you can open the door remotely if you need to. So if a guest has issues getting in, you can actually get them access to it
I
from
see.
your phone. And it also tells you basically who logged in and what date. So it gives you a lot more insight, just like smart locks that you have it.
Can they create their own door code? The guest, or it's random right now?
Currently, we created door codes for them. Yeah, they can't create their own door lock codes. We'll go to 124.
Yeah, because I'm in 126. Is this the same type of room? Let's take a look. Pretty much the same room.
This is a queen size bed.
Oh, they're queens?
Yours is a king size, so we're actually going to put king size in all of the single bedrooms.
Oh, so you're going to upgrade to kings.
Yep, just because we can make it fit, and a lot of people do prefer that, so it just gives us a lot more versatility to guests that can accommodate.
The headboard and all that here?
We do. And I mean, the headboards are pretty easy to change. They're just hooked onto the back, so
Yeah. Oh, I see.
really easy to replace. I think we get.
And then you can use you have queens other places too?
So the queens we're going to put all be double.
The doubles. Oh, okay. Cool.
Because we try to do double kings with a different bed.
Right.
But yeah, the plan is to have all the single rooms to have just the kings, and
Yeah.
then the doubles will be all double queens.
Is this the finished product already? Or are you guys planning on doing anything else with it? Or?
Yeah, I think for the most part this is finished. We will probably do one like accent wall where the wall mount bike rack is. We may do like a darker paint just because over time when people do use that a lot more in the summertime, so it's probably going to mark up the walls. We might make that as like a part of the mural, so that way it looks more aesthetic. And yeah, but you probably notice most of these the rooms that you're in, they have a floating desk. This way we can free up a lot more space. Before, the single rooms didn't have any refrigerators, some people ask for that a lot. And so we're able to build that into the bench that way it doesn't take up any more space. It gives them a place to keep cold drinks or some food, leftovers, and things like that. The other thing we added is new chairs, new ice buckets, and that coffee machines as well. Previously we had just a really like standard low tier coffee. Also, people do appreciate Keurig more because they're more familiar with it.
Right.
We can also have different brands of coffees for them. Yeah, besides that, nightstands are pretty simple. That
Yeah,
way
yeah.
there's not much to break, and also there's not a lot of storage. That way people don't leave things behind. Bathrooms, in this room we redid the floors, kept the same bathroom tub and tile. Those were still pretty good, so we didn't have to change those. Changed out all the hardware to black, painted the doors, the frames, as well as the exit doors as well, and changed the lighting in here as well.
Do you know like how much it costs to renovate like one of these rooms?
With furnishing and everything, we've been ranging between 8 to about 10,000 a room.
$8,000 to $10,000? Oh, that's pretty cheap.
Between the singles and doubles, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it has a pretty good effect. I like it.
We're trying to do a lot with a little.
All singles over here, or it's just a mixture, kind of all over the place.
Yeah, no, so you're right. So most of the ones that are facing the parking lot are singles.
Okay.
The ones facing the other hotel are doubles. So right behind you is 125, and this should be a double queen bedroom.
Oh, nice. Yeah, a lot more spacious.
Yeah, a lot more space. Yeah, the hotel from the start was a microtel, so a bit limited space. This is double queen, two double beds. You can tell same concept, but a lot
Yeah.
more usable desk space. The bench and everything over there is still the same size. We could use the same fridge for all rooms and integrate that into the bench.
And then the same TV size and everything.
Yep, same TV size,
55 inch, huh?
for all the rooms. Before there was just range of, I don't know, 27 inch to 32
Yeah, yeah.
inch.
And then this is all LVP down here?
LVP with the another barrier that helps out just because with the floors, especially on the second floor, we don't have the thickest space between the floors. Anything that we can do to reduce the sound will help. And what else? Everything else besides that is the same in this room, except
Also, the cost for this same thing around $8,000 to $10,000, or is this a little bit more?
this is a bit more. I think it's 10 to 11.
10 to 11. Oh, not that much more.
Yeah.
Just probably because you have another bed, right?
Correct.
And then a little bit more flooring.
A
So,
bit more, yeah, a bit more square footage and some more furniture as well.
how long does a team take to renovate all this? But you guys were doing it all at the same time. That was the issue, right?
We have much of a blueprint for one room. We did the manager suite separately, and that took about close to, I would say, a month. However, that was also done with a different contractor. We've gone through two different contractors just because the first one couldn't deliver. We tried to do everything in phases. So we first started with this end of the hallway, and then we moved on to the other side of the hallway. Now we're doing the second floor, half the hallway. Once we're done with that, we'll probably wait until post-peak season and do the other side of the hallway once it slows down a bit so we don't take too many rooms offline.
Like, how many rooms are offline right now?
Right now, we have about 18 rooms offline.
18 rooms offline because they're being renovated.
Yeah, and we can take a look at those. They're just about ready anyway. Should be back online within the next 2 to 5 days.
Mike, we painted the drop ceiling, right? With the branding.
Yeah, drop ceiling is painted. Walls are painted. Doors and door frames are also painted black. That was one of the most cost-effective ways to improve the look without having to change everything out. And yeah, we also updated the recessed lights in there.
They're all the same recessed lights, it seems like.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, let's walk up the stairs here. Is the whole downstairs pretty much done?
Yeah, whole downstairs is done. There's only one room that is still in progress of renovation. That's 106, and that's because we're probably turning that into a podcast. This is a use room, but basically, this is a same thing as the downstairs, but we have not put in the headboards, the wooden wall slats yet. We also decided to go with a different type of sconce lights here as well, because the other ones we had were a bit flimsy, and these ones are a bit more
Sturdier.
smaller, and then we also rotate them as well. The other thing is they have a built-in switch. So before we had to have it either connected to a switch because it wasn't wired. This one allows us to have all the wiring hidden, and the switch is built in, so it's a lot cleaner and looks as well.
One thing I noticed, there's no phones in here.
We took out the phones.
So no more hotel phone, no more Bible either. I don't see a Bible.
We took out a few things that a lot of people were also just not using. The old ones that we had were not of the best quality. We switched to a new messaging system that texts the guests before they arrive. It just makes it more convenient because they can just if they need anything like room service or if they're checking out late, rather than call and a front desk. And if the front desk is helping someone, sometimes they can't pick up the phone. Sometimes when you're at the hotel and you're calling the front desk and it's ringing and ringing forever, it makes it more convenient when we can have it all through text or virtual way.
This one, the flooring's a little bit different, right? Looks like we haven't upgraded this bathroom.
Not everything on the second floor in terms of bathrooms is updated. We only did the rooms. Bathrooms, we did repaint them, but we left the vanity, the floors the same, but we did change the hardware on it and shower curtains.
And then this one, it looks like it has a mirror, right? Is that something that's going to go in every room, or?
It is, yeah. Because the first floor, we started renting already,
Oh.
we couldn't get to most of them to put the mirrors back in, but This is something we're adding to all the rooms. It's a full-size mirror, just because a lot of guests did ask for that.
Mm.
And of course, it makes sense. You want to see how pretty you look.
Yeah, right here. That's not a closet, right? That's a adjoining room that where they could potentially rent two rooms. Yeah.
These are connecting rooms. I think we have about 6 or so connecting rooms, just for families or people that want to stay together but still stay. These are the rooms on the second floor that are still being renovated. So
Okay.
most of them are still just left open because they're at some part of the room. This one may not even have a bed. You can see this is how some of the rooms look like when they're still in progress of renovation. Right now it's waiting setup. So setup is basically furnishing, bedding, mattresses, and then all the final touches.
How many square feet is this?
The single rooms are like 180, doubles are like 210 square feet on average. They do have a bit of variance to them, but roughly they're fairly close. So
Okay.
downstairs we have the 2 doors that are giving light to. I think we're actually going to be taking those blinds off just to bring more light.
More light in here? Yeah, yeah.
And then once we change the lights, it'll look a lot more consistent. It's also dark here because it's missing some of the lights.
Mike, I'm noticing like temporary, like this isn't the finished product, right? Or
We try to keep it a bit organic and not too high end, so we're doing a laminated eco-friendly.
Yeah,
sign.
okay.
We're getting some wooden ones.
oh,
made,
that would
and
look
so-
nice. That makes sense
Yep.
because you have black and white and woods here.
Exactly. A local guy is making those, so he's making it up like out of solid wood. So it's gonna take another week and a half to 2 weeks for those to get delivered. We'll install these once we get those.
Here's another room that's being renovated right now. I'm jealous. I don't have a mirror.
I know.
So this doesn't have wood slats. Are we not putting wood slats here?
We are.
We are,
going to put wood slats in most of the rooms, but we haven't ordered those yet just because we wanted to just get these online first. As a phase 2, just so we don't take too much more time, we'll wait until off season to finish these up.
How much does a room like this rent for?
The singles, depending on the
Season and all
weekday or weekends.
Yeah.
Usually on weekdays, it's around 120 to 150-ish. Weekends, it's pretty close to 200. It can push to 200 over if it's like an event in town. This past weekend, we had Deadmau5 actually in town, which is a weird thing because he's more of a big city person. So yeah, it totally depends on what weekend and also what season it is.
That's pretty cool. Because I know when I rented this place, it was like 70, 80 bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been able to push prices a little bit more because of the renovations, you think? Or is that just because of the new brand?
I definitely think the renovations help a lot because we're able to perceive a higher value for
Right.
the guests,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
with the lobby too. Let's go to some of the older rooms.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'm Thomas.
Hey, Thomas.
Obviously, just there.
It takes quite a bit of work to make these smart locks work with the old doors. We have to modify the cassette that goes inside the door and also the door frame itself before we can even just install the new door locks, just because they're a little bit different.
The holes don't match up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The holes don't match up and it needs a bit more clearance.
Was this the laundry area before, or what is this going to be?
There used to be ice machine there, but it was broken when we got the property.
Oh, okay.
But instead of getting a new one, we are taking it offline for now and leaving it just in the lobby because we don't have that many guests that need 2 ice machines on every floor. For now, we're thinking about putting like a small kind of like a dry bar where people can possibly get like additional toilet paper or like additional coffee pods and maybe like a small water fountain so they can also refill their
Fill up.
water bottles and
Yeah.
stuff like that. This is our housekeeping headquarters where all the cleaning magic happens. As you can see, the housekeepers have done a really good job in keeping everything organized. Putting the sections out into different areas. That way we can have a certain amount of linens that we have per night prepared before they just bundle everything into one area. So we've separated out that way. It's easy to quantify how much each type of linen that we have in stock.
Did we have to change any of the linens going from Microsoft to the block?
Yes.
We did.
Most of the stuff was pretty aged and it's supposed to be white, but they
Yellow.
look like off-white now.
Sepia. How do they know which properties to clean or which rooms to clean?
So
You guys update the boards, or that's automatic?
so the housekeeping, we also have an app that we use called FlexKeep, and that's the same thing with the key. They each have a login with their own phones. They
Okay.
can see what rooms they're assigned every day. We can move that remotely. We can see exactly what phase of cleaning they are at. So if they just finished the room, it will update us immediately. Whereas
Okay.
before we had just paper printouts, we would give them every morning. And it gave us a delay in like information. So like we would have to wait until the end of the day to see what rooms are clean and what rooms had issues.
There could be a last minute change or something.
Exactly. And this way we have more data also to analyze like how
Yeah,
long
yeah.
it takes to clean each room. If a certain
Right.
room takes longer for everyone,
The double bed or single bed or something.
or like a suite, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we can forecast a bit better that way too. So here we have housekeeping parts. Everyone has particular way they set up, but for the most part, they all have the same things on there. We recently also updated all the vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, they
So
look
it's-
nice.
Yeah, they look retro. And
We don't have any carpet, right? This is all. We have
do
all
have carpet.
Oh, we do have carpet.
That was the issue. Before, our vacuum cleaners were really good for carpet, but they were horrible for hardwood or LVP just because the brushes couldn't be turned off, so they would push away all the dirt before you get to the suction part. These ones you can actually turn off the roll brush, and that helps a lot in cleaning hardwood floors. And they're just a lot easier to navigate too because they swivel around.
Percentage do you think is done here on the second floor as far as?
We're about 50% on the second floor. So right behind us is the elevator. So
Okay.
basically this was the cutoff point.
Oh, okay.
We wanted to make everything on this side finish, and then on the right side we left them as original.
Okay.
But we did paint the hallways, the doors, and the ceiling so that way it doesn't look like two different
Two
hotels.
Are guests staying here right now? Or?
Yeah, they're all guests staying here. So we have updated rooms, we call them refresh rooms, and then the older rooms we call them classic rooms, and they're priced at two different price points.
Remnants of the old microtel with the
Let's go to.
212. Oh, this is the old room.
So this is a blast in the past.
It looks nasty now compared to. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's a bit different looking.
Because it's funny because I remember staying here when we first purchased the hotel,
Mhm.
thinking that it was nice.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Maybe you were. I think just because you have the contrast of seeing
Yeah.
a new room.
It's totally different. It's so weird.
Yeah. Because you can see it has the same components, right? It has a new 55-inch TV, new coffee machine, ice blankets, the same size bed, right? It just feels a lot different because
Yeah.
of the paint, the carpet.
It
and
feels
everything.
2000.
Probably older than that. But the main thing is, I think what doesn't translate in the camera is the smell, right? It just smells because of the carpet, even
Yeah.
though we've had them professionally cleaned
Yeah.
twice already.
Correct.
There's only so much you can do with old carpet, and I think that's why hotels probably replace carpet so often, just because at some point it's not salvageable. The main thing you'd see that we took out was this big closet. It's a small room already, but because of this thing that takes up this whole corner, visually feels smaller. And I mean, look, most people that travel here, they're staying on average 2 to 4 days, and they don't utilize the closet space. Most times when we do stay over cleans, people just live out of their suitcase. They might use 1 or 2 hangers, and so that's why we decided to get rid of the closet and do an open closet system with about 6 hangers per room. This is the classic double.
Classic double suite room.
Sorry, double room, not suite.
Oh, okay.
Added too many words in there. This one, again, you can see it's the bigger room style. This is before we painted the walls, changed the floors.
But you guys still got rid of the phones and then you upgraded the TVs and all of them.
Yeah, TVs and equipment, we updated all of them. The coffee, TV, ice bucket, but we kept everything else the same basically.
What did you do with all the furniture you got rid of?
We toss it. If it was sellable, we would just post it on cheap on Facebook. There's actually a other microtel down the street here, about 10 minutes away, and they bought a lot of things for us from us for a fairly big discount. But otherwise, it's a lot of things are not really usable, and people wouldn't pay money for them.
So no more microwaves in any of the rooms then, right?
Correct, yes, that's a good observation. We decided to make the decision of not having microwaves just because a lot of times the people that did use microwaves would, cook a lot of food in here, and often they would also bring in their own cooking equipment. Sometimes it attracted the wrong demographics. And with smells, it's so hard to save that room for use for the next person, especially the same day. So we'd often have to put it out of order for 1 to 3 days just to get the smell out, even with the air purifier.
So is there a community microwave downstairs or?
Correct. So we still offer microwaves in the lobby area, can use, so there's always going to be an option for them to microwave food still. This is the original bathrooms. So you can see it is still with the original vanity, shower tub, but the bathroom hardware is all the original chrome style stuff. And
Ugly fluorescent light or whatever it is.
yeah, the original lighting, original door that's not painted black as well. So even just repainting the bathroom and just giving it new hardware without having to do any of the heavier lifting does make the bathroom look a lot more clean and new.
Did we use the same door and just paint it?
Correct.
Okay,
So
okay.
you can see,
Yeah.
because this is still an old room, we only painted the outside so the hallway looks consistent, but you can see the door is just painted door. And these are really solid doors. They're extremely heavy because they have to be fire rated. So we didn't want to change those because that would be expensive, because they are still nice and fully functional doors.
All right, so third floor, we can see that it's not painted, the black and white.
right, yeah. So third floor, this is all original from the factory. But you can see the carpet is this really psychedelic pattern of blues and browns. We got this off gray wall color, and we still have the original door and door frame colors as well. The only thing that's different is the door locks. You can see we've updated those because this way at least we can operate the whole property
The same.
consistently. Yep.
You don't have keys and then with one and then door locks with the other.
Because we did have a period where we were installing door locks and we still had the old door locks, so it was just a lot of keeping on track which door had which door lock, and so we wanted to make everything as uniform as possible. So we'll go to, I think this is going to be a suite.
When do you think they'll start upgrading this?
I think we're going to wait until off season.
Off season to
Yeah.
finish this up.
Probably
I see.
December or January is when it's usually really slow here because it does take a few days to get everything prepped. In the meantime, the hallway is like a construction zone. Good impression for people.
Oh, and then you can just block off this whole top, huh?
Yep, yep. Right, so this is one of our larger rooms. It's a suite, but not a conventional suite because usually it's you have this island here on your left side, which is a sink and some cabinets. Normally it is between the beds, but in this case, because this is a handicap room, it is not between the beds, but on the side of the room.
How many square footage is this?
This is close to, I think, 250 or 260 square foot.
You could feel the difference.
So it is one of our large room types just because it needs to be handicap friendly. Even the bathroom is bigger as well.
You have the rails and everything.
Yep. And this is not a roll-in shower. We have rooms that are roll-in shower handicap rooms. This
Right.
one just is accessible, I believe. So it has the bars here and the spacing around the toilet for people with disabilities.
How much does this rent out right now?
This still rents out the same. We don't charge any more for handicap or accessible rooms. The rate's still the same. Just don't need.
Just double bed.
Correct. This would just be considered double bed.
What's the difference when renting a classic room versus your renovation? Are you guys factoring that in right now, or?
We are. I think on average, because Mike has some algorithm set up where he sets those rates up, but I think between $30 to $40 on average is the difference between classic and refreshed.
I mean, so you could see that $30-40 over 76 rooms. It's a huge boost in revenue.
I don't know if you want to capture this. This is
Yeah.
this is it.
Small.
Yeah, we only have one washer, one dryer. It's what came with the property. We are thinking about getting 2 double stacks instead.
Yeah.
Like front loading ones, because those are typically known to be quieter and not as loud. And so once we finish with most of the renovations, we'll probably look into that as well, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because our guest type may change a bit. We may not be getting as much like long-term stays.
Oh, yes.
So people that stay for 2-3 days typically don't use them. We only see people that are staying here for 5+ days use
Right.
our laundry most often. And this is our maintenance headquarters.
Just junk, where we keep all of our stuff to fix things.
Yeah, all the spare equipments, spare parts, and things that are either needing to be repaired, filters, and extra parts are all here.
Just more stuff for our handyman.
Yep.
Thomas, he's a full-time handyman, or?
He is full-time handyman. He's been pretty instrumental because even for the renovation aspects, he's helped a lot on that.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not just maintenance, but really he's been a key part of all our renovation duties. Like the door locks that he saw, all those were installed by him. So he's installed 76 door locks because it's a bit more intricate that contractors may not be able to handle because it revolves around technology as well. So yeah, he's been able to do that.
How many handyman do we have on staff? Is it just going to be him?
Just one.
Just one? Is he like?
So after hours, we do train the staff depending what the emergency is. If it's something that they can't solve, like they can, if it's guest related, they will just move them into a different room. But if it is an emergency, then whether it's something that Thomas can solve or they need to call the proper plumber or electrician to solve that, they will just do that. But yeah, Thomas does live about 10 minutes from here, so he's always open to coming after hours. We've had cases where, especially this winter, where we had burst pipes, and he's come and helped us fix those things when it was like 9 p.m. on a Friday. Flooding happened on the other end of the hallway. Starbucks have a big concrete area, and their elevation is higher than us, so a lot of that rainwater, when it came down, came to us because we're at the lowest part of this piece of land, especially on that end.
And then those rooms were non-operational, like the
Correct.
13 rooms or whatever.
Correct. So that was our first kind of major disaster we had here. We had to take all those rooms offline up to the conference room because the water is from outside, so the contamination is not just water from plumbing or anything, it's outside water, which has a lot more bacteria and bad things. So we had to basically do what they call flood cut, which is taking off about 2 feet of drywall on both sides
Right.
of the hallway into rooms and
Right.
all around the bathrooms. Cut that out, take out the insulation, dry it out, spray anti-mold and fungal things on the property, get it tested for mold again, and then reinstall everything. And that took quite a lot of time because we had to take all the rooms and all the furniture out of the rooms and basically strip them down. So when that happened, we decided to also start with that renovation there since we already had some of that.
There's no sense in putting it back to where it was.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's why that hallway was the first one we started with.
Kind of a blessing. What do we do to prevent the flooding from happening again from the outside?
There is a thing called French drains, which
Uh-huh.
is like a perforated tube
Yeah.
that connects and makes a perimeter around the property.
Okay.
So water that's coming towards the property is ideally captured by that tube, which is called French drain, and transported away in a safe distance. And we also have to use what they call sump pumps to help give some velocity to the water so that way it can eject away from it.
I guess it was a blessing. I wonder if we would have had the same thing happen when the tornado came through.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably would have got flooded then anyway.
And we did get a little bit of flooding in the tornado because the tornado had sideways rain pushed past the French drains, but it happened at 2 in the morning. Luckily or unluckily, I was on the property,
Mhm.
and
Right.
we also have staff here overnight that's running night audit. And
Right.
her name is CJ. She was great. Me and her put down towels and everything, basically right as it happened, and most of that absorbed. That was also scary. As you can see, there are some areas of the hotel that have holes and such because we occasionally do have leaks that happen, so we have to unfortunately cut open to track where they're coming from. And this one seems to be actually coming from the third floor, even though we're in the lobby right now. It's most likely coming from the shower, either the shower tub surround or the shower valve, traveling down the walls and then coming down to the first floor and leaking into the ceiling here.
Where was the most damage that we had from the tornado that came through?
Most damage was really in the roof. We
Okay.
had quite a few patches missing in the roof just because I think the shingles were pretty old already, and so they just lifted away. 2 rooms that have some leaks,
Okay.
so we took those rooms offline for now. And then we had some siding pieces missing. Besides that, we got pretty fortunate. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. This is our kitchen prep area. Not the biggest, but we also have a very limited standard continental breakfast that we serve. So a lot of things are frozen and prepared in the oven and microwave, so we don't have to make things from scratch necessarily. This was a lot more of a disaster, so currently it's been organized much better. We also have a 3-compartment sink here, but we may think about actually updating and getting a dishwasher here just because on average it'll save our staff 15 to 20 minutes of free time, which they could be doing other things. It's maybe like a $600 investment, so I think it makes a lot of sense to do that. And typically, the dishwasher will also clean the dishes much more consistently and better. And then we have our 2 industrial washers and dryers over here. They look a lot more complex than they are, but they're probably easier to use than the standard things that you have at home.
There's someone like full-time doing laundry, or is it the same housekeepers that are cleaning?
So laundry is done by housekeepers and front desk staff. Front desk staff, when they have downtime, they'll wash laundry, fold laundry.
Okay.
It's basically a task that is ongoing 24 hours just because we're always having laundry that's needing to be washed and
Yeah.
folded. So it's shared between the whole team here. This was a regular suite, meaning a suite we define here as basically single bed and a fold-out sofa. And you can see on the ceiling there's a kind of like a drop down. Below that is where the sink and the refrigerator and a little island used to be. But we took that out because this is going to be one of our kind of one-off podcast studios that Dia is going to design and put together. And
So that no one's gonna stay here then.
so it is also still going to have a fold-out couch still that people can stay and rent this overnight as well. So
Okay.
if you're a blogger or someone in social media, you can rent this out, sleep here, and then have people here for interviews in the morning or the day of. The other thing that's nice is this is a connecting room. So if you wanted to strictly have this be your media studio for the day and sleep in a separate room without having it be the place you work at,
All your
you can rent
junk
2
and stuff.
rooms
Yeah,
and
yeah.
basically have a little studio attached to your
Okay.
bedroom. Additionally, because this is going to be a podcast studio, it's going to have different seating options. So when it's not a podcast studio, we could still rent this out as like a small conference room for like
Right.
more smaller business meetings and
Yeah.
things of that nature.
How many of these rooms do you have this, or this is the
This is only a room that is going to be a podcast studio.
So as far as the layout, like with
Oh.
all of this and stuff like that?
With the as a suite,
Yeah.
I think we have 6 or 7 of
6 or
these.
7 suites where it has a couch and then like the bed area and then like
Correct.
that almost like a kitchen area right here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So realistically, it's not much different than a room. It's basically a double queen size room with only a single bed.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have a stove or anything because we don't have the ventilation for that.
Ah,
It just has a sink and an island area. We did actually have a group in here that was an insurance sales group that did rent us out for a few hours every day, and this is where they have their meetings. But right now, it's currently no storage. This is currently storage of all of the things that are going in the podcast studio.
so what are we providing them? Like all the cameras and stuff, or everyone brings in their own stuff? No.
We are going to provide them one set of cameras that
Okay.
Dia found. I don't think it's too expensive, but for the most part, I would assume they would also be able to bring in their own stuff if they have their own setup that they normally use and are used to.
If they wanted to just rent it out for an hour or something like that, like office spaces, like
Mhm.
I've seen it where people just need it. I'm recording a podcast for an hour.
Correct.
They'd be able to do that.
Correct. Yeah. I think we're still going to go over the pricing and all that stuff, but we'll definitely do short-term like hourly rentals
Yeah.
for our blocks or something like that, and also nightly as well.
Mm,
So
yeah.
it just gives us, it's like I guess like a flex room.
Yeah, even a shorter stay.
Yep. And it should, give us a cool topic to talk about for local news and amenities that other hotels may not have.
So we did have a tornado in the area, and there's a little bit of roof damage right up here. So you can see on the roof here, there is a little bit of damage. That's from the tornado. There's a little bit of damage, just some of the siding came off. Actually, very fortunate that it wasn't worse. So we still have all of this land in front of the hotel. We actually wanted to prioritize the inside first, so we're remodeling all that, getting our signage up, changing over systems and operations, establishing that, and then we'll probably focus in on this. So one good sign is late last night when I came in, the parking lot was pretty much full. You had a lot of trucks, so I'm assuming those are a lot of construction workers in the area. This area keeps booming, so they need the workers, but that's always a good sign when you see people booking the property. When you go from a flag like a Wyndham to your own brand, you worry that the place is going to be completely empty, but we're getting bookings still, so that's a really good sign. It shows the need in this area for temporary housing because they're building so much in the area. So that's the hotel. In a short amount of time, our teams worked pretty hard transforming the space, transforming it from a Wyndham to the Block Hotel. We got the branding, and all of the rooms are being renovated slowly over time. Looks really good. I think we're going to generate a lot more income. And surprisingly, what my biggest fear was that the place was going to be empty because there's so many people that like to stay at hotels for their points. But I think we've done a good job marketing and getting our name out there to where people will book this place. So a couple challenges that we've had. So number one is getting our listing on the booking platforms such as Expedia, Booking.com, all of those OTAs. There was a couple weeks there where we were held hostage because we were still under the Wyndham brand, the Microtel brand, and we still carry over all of those reviews. So I know our team's talking about when are we gonna switch away from those and start fresh with no reviews, because right now people do complain every now and then with the construction and all of that. Once we get everything situated, I think that's when Mike feels comfortable with switching over and just having our own listing on the OTAs. I think we're going to get the next phase done on the second floor within the next couple weeks here. We do have a contracting crew that they come in from Texas because it's actually cheaper for them to come here than hiring people here locally. The other thing is the tornado. When it came through, we're very fortunate that the tornado didn't damage the property even more. We have a few siding issues, a roof that's leaking a little bit, so we're just patching that up. So those are the challenges that we've been facing converting this Wyndham brand hotel into a boutique hotel. So some of the gear that we have out there, we're handing this out to like local areas to get our name out there. So this little package, some branding there, the block with the address, hats with the B. I'm not much of a hat guy, but that's the B right there. And then we got this t-shirt. It's actually pretty sturdy. Looks like blocks. And then the back it says the block. It's got and then this t-shirt right here. Pretty cool.